was a few of them making points. Tyler said a bit about it. I think Toby said a bit about that as well. Made it very clear you're in here for love, because
the bottom three were you, Georgia, and Hannah. Yeah, I say it as well. Anton voted for you to go.
I'm going to be a hypocrite and say I feel some type of way about the way the guys sort of told the girls what happened in regards to voting, in the sense that I understand where Toby was coming from. I think Toby was trying to say to Kaz, be mindful of Anton. When you're being friends, or if he's going to explore a romantic connection with him, just keep an eye on him, because this is what he was saying behind your back. So I think he was doing that as a friend. Whereas with Anton, I think he was looking to be a hero in Georgia's eyes. I think he still likes Georgia and still wants to, to explore a romantic connection. And so he was trying to be her hero and tell her that I fought for you. This is the reason why you're still in the villa. So and so and so and so didn't want you here. That's the impression that I get. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars UK Season 1, Episode 15. Am I surprised with who was dumped? No, not really. It makes sense. It does make sense. In the sense that Tyler was his own worst enemy. He decided to go for Hannah and didn't want to rekindle things with Kaz. I think because he thought if he couples up with Hannah, his chances of staying in the villa were likely as compared to him coupling up with Kaz. I don't understand why he didn't realize that they brought more to the villa with Kaz, with their banter and the way they were sort of going back and forth. So I think he would have been better had he stayed with Kaz than when he recoupled with Hannah. The boys, what do I think? I think the boys had a couple of options of girls that they wanted to dump, and I think their sort of decision was based on who the girls would dump. So if they went first, I think they were going to just say a name, but then depending on who the girls voted for, they would then sort of choose the girl who was either aligned with the boy or somebody who they felt was appropriate. And so them dumping Hannah and Tyler made sense. It did make sense, although Georgia H could have easily gone home. I don't get why Anton sat there with a long face. For him to say, oh, with Georgia H, because people were saying she had a connection with Mitch that she was building, but Mitch is gone. So what's left for her? And he was, oh, I'm happy to give it another try. And it's like, how many more times can you try something if it's not working? She doesn't feel you like that. She doesn't like you like that. So why do you keep putting pressure on it when she's not interested? You need to move on. And then he tried to fight for Hannah. And I think he was given an option that you have to pick one of the two, because you could tell he was really upset when she left. So when they left, it was announced that 2 more Islanders were coming in, and it was Joanna and Casey. I'm surprised, Tom didn't stand up and jump and sort of lift Casey in the air because of their relationship and how close they are. I think the producers told them that no reactions until after Maya's left, because as soon as Maya left, Tom ran and hugged, Casey. I won't say what I was expecting. And they really seemed happy to see each other. And I don't know how that's going to play out now with Molly, given that Casey is now going to be taking part of Tom's attention away from her. In the interviews, you could see that I think people were strategically in couples the same way Liberty was trying to make it seem like, the reason why we're here is because Mitch and I had a tiny speed bump. And so I think if we hadn't had that, and you could tell Mitch wasn't feeling it, because he said, I'm not going to argue about anything. And he's not going to argue because he's already told her countless times that I don't feel you that way. And so for her to continue to sort of argue and sort of want to fight for a connection that's not there doesn't make sense to me. Because this guy is not feeling you that way. He's said it countless times. This is why he refused when he was asked that, can you go and apologize to her? Because had he apologized to her, then she would have said, oh, he's groveling, he wants to come back. I feel sorry for Liberty. She needs to do a lot of work. She needs to go to counseling after the show and actually learn what she wants as a person and what she needs in a relationship. Tyler and Hannah, that was a very strange connection. That was a strange sort of exploration, in my opinion. He did say, Kaz and I had a conversation and we decided we didn't want to go there. So they decided not to rekindle their connection, which to each their own. I'm happy for them. As long as the two of them are happy, that's the most important thing. And so it's going to be interesting now that Casey is here to see how that will sort of affect some of the connections. Because as soon as he walked in, Georgia H said, "Oh, I know him. I've seen him a couple of times." And it's like, oh my God, is she already holding on to him and not wanting him to explore with anybody else? And why do we keep getting the same type of person? Did everybody else refuse to come in? What is it? What criteria did they use to sort of pick who comes in as an all-star? So after, Maya's left, you have, Casey sit down with the girls and have a conversation, and Joanna sits with the guys. And Casey is messy. Casey is going to look out for his guys. So he was asked immediately, Georgia S., what's going on with your love triangle? And it's like, oh my God. So the girls had to say to him, these people have been arguing about this all day. Can we avoid it? And then he just laughed and he went on. But I think he was sort of letting her know that I know what you've been doing and I know what you've been saying. So my money's on Casey telling, Tom everything that's been said and everything that's happened. So I can't wait for that drama to continue. Joanna, well, she sort of tried to explain the person she's looking for, and it sort of seemed like she was sort of describing either Toby, someone with a big personality. Chris, I don't know. I won't say anything negative for today, but I don't know. Although Chris was saying he really likes her, and he, when Toby sat him down and said, you normally know who you like and what you like. So do you like her? And he said, yeah, I really like her. And it's like every single, bombshell that comes in, you really like them. But hey, it is what it is. Tom and Callum sort of made it seem like they were closed off. And it's like, Tom I get, Callum I don't get why he's closing himself off, because Georgia S., it's just a matter of time. She's going to see somebody else and say, oh, we have history, and she's going to go after that person. Because if Casey were to go after Molly, I have a feeling Georgia S. would start going after Casey as well. I remember everybody was praising Anton and saying, oh, Anton is a man, he's grown, he's blah. Well, he's decided to be a tattletale and sort of tell on the guys, because he told Georgia H that, I had to fight for you and Hannah, and I told him that, I have a better chance of getting a connection with you. There was no way I was going to vote you out. And so Georgia H asked, Anton, who was fighting for me to go home? And he said, oh, Toby and Tyler. And it's like, you're lying. You are lying. It can't just be the two of them. Why would they be fighting for her to go home? She has nothing to do with them, unless they were fighting to save Kaz. Unless the guys were sort of stuck in between Kaz and Georgia H. Then that makes sense. But still, at the end of the day, why are you telling her? What benefit is it to her for you to tell her? I think he, sadly, was upset that he didn't get his way, and it's like, why do you want to send Kaz home? What has she done? It's not her fault that the producers keep sending people that don't like people that look like Kaz. If they send people that liked people that look like Kaz would be in a relationship, because she is looking for love, but they haven't. Everybody they've sent in has been after Molly, and that's who they're catering to. So please leave her alone. And so for Georgia H to be upset with the guys, I don't get it. They gathered around the fire pit and she's revealing that, oh, I've got a history with Casey. And it's like, oh my God, what is going on with these people that go on Love Island? Is it all they do once they leave the show? Date each other? Make it make sense. She's got a history with, I think she said she's got a history with Tom, hasn't she? Or maybe my mistake. She's got a history with Josh. Who else does she have a history? Let us know every single person. That way the producers don't bring them in, and they bring someone you don't have a history with, and you'll probably find love, because you're really not feeling Anton that way anyway. Okay, I know I've just been yelling at Anton, and now, Toby has done exactly the same. But the way he did it is totally different. I think Toby did it in the context that you are, or you might see Anton as your closest friend. But this is what Anton was doing. Anton was prepared to throw you under the bus to save people he doesn't have a romantic connection with. So just be careful in your dealings with him, and keep it in mind that he's one of the people that tried to vote you out. I like the fact that he said to her, please don't just say anything. I don't want it to come out. And it's like, Toby, you're being recorded. You are on TV. He's going to see this at some point and he's going to be upset with you. But at the end of the day, you have to fight for your girl. So I get it. That's your best friend. So you have to look after your bestie at the end of the day. I think Kaz is Toby's best friend in the villa at the moment. And it was sad to see Kaz sort of say she's happy that she got to mend her relationship with, Tyler. They are now very good friends. So that was good. And it's a pity. Maybe if he had stayed longer, there could have been more. But hey, it is what it is. So you then have Georgia H sitting down with, Casey for a chat. And it's like, what are they talking about? Oh, it's very hard for me. I don't even know what to say. I can't process. I can't. And it's like, oh my God, don't make a big deal out of nothing. Don't make it seem like it's something when it's not. You two maybe slept around and that's it. Move on. If you were in love, you would have told us you were in love with him. But it seems like, you two were just bumping uglies and then you moved on and someone caught feelings when the other person didn't. So it is what it is. And then you have Georgia sort of sit down with Chris for a chat. And then she's, is saying, oh, I'm a bit surprised that Liberty's gone and with Mitch, and also Hannah is gone. So she was exploring a connection with Mitch, so that would upset her. She was friends with Hannah, that would upset her. And then for her friend, her ex situationship to come in, that's a lot for one person. And then she brought up the thing about, oh, people wanted me gone. And it's like, why? And I give credit. Oh, listen up. Something positive about Chris is about to come out. I give a lot of credit to Chris. I have to, rate him for this because he asked, why did Anton tell you this? What was his point, or what did he stand to gain or lose? Because at the end of the day, you're upset because this is what you've heard about the guys, that, this is what was said behind your back. And you are now upset. Whereas what is he looking for? I think Anton at the end of the day was trying to be in Georgia H's good books. So he wanted to show her that, I'm your man. I fight for you. I'll do anything for you. And so the only way he could do that was by telling her about the evictions and who was wanting who to go home. And so this is why he went into great detail to tell her what happened, because he thought he would stand to gain, or she would sort of feel more inclined to explore a romantic connection with him because she felt, he really fought for her. And I give credit to Chris for saying that. And I give him credit for saying, let's call Anton and let's have a conversation with him, because he's betrayed all the boys in the group. He hasn't just betrayed the people that voted against you, but he's betrayed everybody, because there were a lot of names that were brought up. We discussed every single girl and not just you. And then Anton, oh, I didn't realize that. I can't wait for those that were saying Anton is a man. He's not a man. He's a boy himself. He's just as messy as Mitch, but maybe he's a bit more sly, whereas Mitch is obvious with it. So you have Anton and Joanna have a conversation. I don't even understand the purpose of that conversation at all. They were telling each other, oh, you've grown. Obviously, it's to be expected. It's 5 years later. If you haven't grown, then there's something wrong with you and you need work. And so I don't get why they were surprised that, they've both evolved as people. All the islanders get ready for bed, and Casey and Tom are excited the way they're all giggly and stuff. And Casey reminds Tom, oh, remember it's a year to date that we met. And it's like, oh my God, why don't you just couple up and be a couple and move on and save all the girls the misery of having to try and explore a connection with people that are not available. Everybody in bed. Well, before they went to bed, you had Josh and Tom have this conversation about Joanna, and it didn't make sense to me, because at the end of the day, if Sophie has closed off, and if Josh has been pursuing Sophie and is happy for her to close off, why then is he saying he wants to see if there's something there with Joanna? I don't think it's a good look. And I think if he does that, Sophie's going to dump him, and then he's going to be at a loss because he won't have anyone, because I don't think Joanna feels him that way. I think she might like, I don't know who she likes really. Maybe Chris. Anyway, the islanders get into bed and people are making out in bed, and it's like, Josh, you were just saying you're open to getting to know Joanna, and yet you're climbing on top of, Sophie. Which is it? Everybody was shocked because I think this is the first time they, as a couple, have shared a room with everybody else. And I think they might have been wondering what was going on downstairs when we were all not there. And so I don't know. Toby was kissing, Arabella. Toby and Arabella are just enjoying the making out sessions that they have. You have Callum and Georgia S making out, and so I don't know. With these couples, I don't think anyone is serious about anyone. I think all of them are just strategic couples, and people are going to do or say things that save them and keep them in the villa at the end of the day. So the islanders go to sleep, and in the morning you have Georgia sort of doing the meditation talk, and it's like, oh my god, and then they start teasing Chris about Joanna, and saying you like her. I think it's a known secret that Chris is always flirting with all the girls from the show. I think he's always DMing them, because apparently he DM'd Joanna, and it seemed he had a crush on Sophie. So he must be telling all these girls that he likes them, and everybody must know about it. So it's nothing new. So in the morning, there is a debriefing, obviously, with the islanders sort of just having conversations on who they like and what's going on. First off, you have Casey having a conversation with Joanna, and they're both very vague. They don't want to put their cards on the table in regards who they like. So they're just sort of going to, play it by ear and see what happens. I thought she would like Toby, but it seems she's interested in Chris, and it's like, I don't think so. I think Chris, sadly, the way he handled the situation with Arabella put me off him completely, and I wouldn't want my enemy to date him, let alone someone I really like. So if Joanna has been watching all this and she's still interested in Chris, well, she'll see. It will all end in tears. And then you have, Casey saying, he's got this history. And it's like, we're tired of people saying they've got history. It seems everyone on Love Island has history with somebody else. So it seems as soon as people leave the villa, if they don't find someone, they go and start dating somebody else until they find their person. And it's like, there's a lot of incestuous behavior in this show. And I don't get it, because everybody has a history with somebody else. Or I dated them, or we had a situationship, we had this, that, and the other. So I don't get it. Josh is asked by Molly, how are things going? Are you closed off? I saw you in bed with Sophie, and what was going on? And he's sort of saying, oh no, I don't want to close things off if Joanna calls me for a chat. And it's like, if you're saying things are going very well with Sophie, why are you opening yourself up to Joanna? You're putting yourself at risk of being dumped by Sophie, because I don't think Sophie has time for BS. I think she will dump him if she feels like he's not being serious. The same way Chris irked her and she left him is the same way she will leave Josh, and then Josh will be lost. So I don't know. We'll see. Chris is asked about, do you like Joanna? And he says, oh, I fall very hard, so I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be standoffish. And it's like, oh, okay, if that's what works for you, do you? But we know different. So the guys have a conversation about, Anton and his comments to Georgia H. They all feel some type of way about the fact that, he repeated what happened. And, some of them are sort of questioning that, are you sure? And then it took Chris saying, I actually confronted him because, Georgia H told me. And I'm like, Toby, why are you getting involved in this conversation? You went and you told, your girl Kaz. So I don't think you have any leg to stand on. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Somehow, to me, it feels different how it played out. I think Toby was just trying to give Kaz a heads up to say, keep your eye on so-and-so because he voted for you to go home. So he might turn around and start sort of saying, oh, I want to be in a romantic connection with you, but he's not feeling you that way because he wanted you out. So just be careful and keep your wits about you. That's the impression that I got. Whereas with Anton, when he was telling Georgia H, I got the sort of feeling that he was trying to be a savior or her savior and have her be grateful to him for saving her. That's the impression that I got. Anyway, you have Casey and Tom sit down for a chat. Apparently they live together. I didn't realize this. So they have a conversation and they're sort of discussing who they feel that Casey might be interested in. So Casey, said he likes Sophie, and it's like, I don't remember him. He played with Cynthia on his season, if I remember correctly. He spent all his time with Cynthia in Casamo and then decided to recouple with the girl that he was coupled up with. So I am worried. He also says he likes Kaz, and he was told Kaz is a good girl, and it's like, I don't like him. I don't like him for Kaz. Given how he treated Cynthia, I would rather he not. And he also says he's interested in Molly, and it's like, who's not? Every guy that comes into the villa, they must be asked, do you like Molly? And if they say yes, then they're told, okay, go in. If they say no, then they are told, no, you can't go in. Because I don't get why every single one of them really likes her, and yet she is not doing anything, or there's nothing about her that stands out. So you have, this conversation between Kaz and Casey, and I don't like it. Case in point, because of the way he treated, Cynthia on his season. He made her believe that he was going to couple up with her, and then on coupling up day, he went back to the person he really didn't like just because her father was famous. That's my opinion. And so I don't know, or I don't think he's right for Kaz, because I think Kaz deserves better. And so for her to couple up with this man, he's just going to use her. He's just going to use her to stay in the villa, unless he's been told by the guys that, unless Tom has told him that Kaz is very popular with the guys. So if you want to stay in the villa for as long as you can, couple up with Kaz. That way there is this strong likelihood that the guys will save you because you are in a couple with her. His banter, I don't know. I don't like Casey because of how he treated Cynthia, so I don't know what will happen. And then you have Sophie pull, Chris for a chat just to tell him that, they're done. She doesn't want to continue to explore that connection. I think she got the ick, and so she was looking for a way to let him down, and finally she couldn't continue to sort of avoid him and had to tell him that, no, we're done. On the other side of the villa, you have Josh speaking to Joanna, and it's like, I don't think this is a good idea. I really don't, because I think you have a good thing going with Sophie, and you want to try and play silly games. And if you play stupid games, Sophie's not going to hang around for that, and she's going to dump you, and then you're going to be crying. And Anton is busy in his confessional sort of saying, oh, Joanna said she's open to getting to know me, so she's not friend zoning me. I thought it was going to be hard, so I'm happy that it is not. And it's like, oh my God, don't worry. You're going to be, I don't even think it's a love triangle. It's going to be a love square, because there's going to be Anton chasing after Joanna, and Joanna is going to be chasing after Josh, and Josh is supposed to be having something with Sophie. So I can't wait for that drama. I really can't. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 14. Bye guys.